I start off most mornings with my CurrentBody Series 2 LED mask. I wear it while I'm still in bed because if I don't do it then oftentimes I'll just keep putting it off and then I don't do it at all. So I found that keeping it right beside my bed is an easy way for me to start using it first thing in the morning. Now it is the time of year where we're starting to think about sale season, and so if you are looking for an LED face mask, I would really say my best piece of advice is to stick to the good brands, the ones that have been tried, tested, true, the ones that offer warranties of names that you have heard of before. So if you're not into the CurrentBody LED mask, which is the only one I've been using since, well, for a number of years now, I would say make sure that you're buying one from those brands that you've heard about, right? Shark makes a very good one, apparently, as does Omnilux, but don't get the Omnilux Contour. What I'm told is the Omnilux Men is the same price, but it's a lot stronger. In fact, the CurrentBody Series 2 mask, I think, is the strongest mask out of all of them, except for the Omnilux Men's. That's the only one that's on a par with this mask. And I get this information from a recent Wirecutter article that ranked all the best LED masks and LED skincare devices. If I remember to do so, I will link that up. And if I don't, please do remind me in the comments to do that. I'll have links to these products down below. What I'm asking you not to do though, really, is please don't buy inexpensive masks off Amazon from those brands where you don't know who they are, like you've never heard of the brand and it's very inexpensive. There's a reason it doesn't cost much money. I can almost bet you that 3 years from now, that brand will not even exist. So don't go down that path. You will have no recourse if something happens. And you know what? We're talking about your eye health here because these are LED lights that are near your eyes. You want to make sure that you're buying a good quality product. Honestly, I'm not a snobby elitist, but I do believe in buying quality things, especially when health is involved and things like eye health and, electronic gadgets that you're putting on your face. Now, one device I don't use is a Newtone, like electrocurrent type device. I have tried one once and I just really did not like the sensation. Like, I don't like feeling like I'm getting electrocuted in my face. I'm not saying they're not good, but I will remind you if that is something you're looking into, Newtone versus other ones, now's the time to do it. I'm releasing this video in October, so you have lots of time to start planning, start researching to see what it is you want to buy on your purchasing list, because the best sales, I will tell you this from doing this for years here, the best sales always are around Black Friday, and they're pretty good around Christmas time too, but then sometimes there's stock level issues. So now's the time to start getting your list in order for these big ticket items that you might be splurging on. Okay, moving on to morning skincare. I'll get up and I'll wash my face. I have been using for the last year and a half this CeraVe cleanser, and it is, I think, their foaming oil cleanser. It doesn't even foam that much. I don't know what the foaming part is, but this is really good for dry to very dry skin. And I like that it doesn't over dry my skin. I'm not super picky about cleansers, but I would just say avoid any that are making you feel too dry after. That's a no-no, especially if you have mature skin. So moving on now to just getting ready, skincare for the morning. Let me show you what I've been using regularly. So basically these are my essentials. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in here a little bit. This is my Merit serum, and then next to it, the moisturizer. I've really been enjoying the combo of these two. And so 5 out of 7 days of the week, I'll be using that. I do use this spray here. This is just a hyaluronic acid spray from the brand Timeless. They're really famous for their vitamin C, which I have also over here. I use that a little bit. Sometimes at night, I'll use this Tula Skincare H2 Oasis stuff. That's pretty good. I've got a little bit of sunscreen. I'm not using too much of the sunscreen right now just because we've moved into October. And, do as I say, not as I do, but I haven't been using it much. Like October to about March, I don't use a lot of sunscreen because I live in a very gray and dark climate and I'm inside most of the time. I've got this Remedy from Dr. Shaw. I don't use that one too much, but one that I do use a lot of when I'm not using my Merit is this Tula. This is Tula's 24/7 Moisture Intense, really thick cream. And so my makeup free days, I'll be slathering a lot of this on. But as it is not one of those days today, I will be sticking to my Merit skincare. So let me show you that. Okay, the other thing that I forgot to mention is that in the mornings after I wash my face with the CeraVe, I also use something called Blepahsol, which is just basically micellar water for my eyes because I have dry eyes. This one was specifically recommended to me by my eye doctor because I struggled with very bad dry eyes. A few vlogs ago, I talked about waking up with majorly dry eyes and how we're trying to address that. One of the things is using that, and another one is eye drops. And then there are other procedures you can get done, but I'm not doing any of those right now. Okay, first thing I will do is go in with my Merit serum. This is a very liquidy, nice serum. I've had this. It does last. Each of these bottles has lasted me about half of a year. And I just put a light layer on. And because I've been using the mask, my skincare routine now is a lot more stripped down. I don't have to do the sort of multi-step Korean skincare that I used to do so much of when I was younger. This is pretty much it. It's the mask, it's the serum, and it's the Great Skin Moisturizer from Merit. I was very skeptical of their complexion products because I just thought, I thought it was gimmicky, but it's not. Their stuff's good. And then I always use their foundation stick. And so that hasn't changed. It's really changed the game for me. It's made my makeup routine just go a lot faster. It's made my skin look much fresher and much dewier. I use the color ochre. We'll get to that in a minute. But sometimes after I put the serum in, I'll just give myself a light little spritz of this Timeless HA spray. And I will let that dry down a tiny bit. This I think is supposed to be rose scented, but it's not too perfumey if that's something that you're worried about. Also makes this really popular vitamin C, and this is something you can get, I think, at Target. And when I was in the US last, I couldn't find any, or I didn't want to purchase it for the price that it was at. I can't remember. But they sent me these to try out, and I've really been enjoying these two products in particular. I've had some other ones. They were kind of neither here nor there for me, but these two are good and I like them. So if you are looking for vitamin C, I don't use this every single morning. I don't have the patience to layer all these different things. And something about the texture of this doesn't always play well with the things that I'm putting over it. It can sometimes cause a bit of pilling when I'm like layering the other products on top of it. But this spray has always been fine. Now, in the warmer months, I'm wearing SPF 50. Half of the year I'm in SPF 50, half of the year there isn't really a lot of sun. Don't do what I do. Wear your SPF year round. I'm just keeping it real, honestly. That is what I do. So sometimes I'm using this Clinique, which is Super Defense City Block. That's an SPF 50. This is a mix of physical and chemical sunscreen. I'm just finishing up this bottle of Darphin and Trol, which I don't believe you can get here. Really, really nice, high quality SPF. I think French and Koreans make the best skincare. Make the best SPF. You can fight me on that, but I think that their stuff is always superior. Oh, I have one more to show you that I'm not wearing today. Another product that I've really been liking is Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue. And this is basically a tinted SPF. But it is SPF 30, so it's not super strong, but it is good enough for where I live and what I do. But I'm not using any of these today. All right, just let me finish up with my Merit moisturizer, and I don't need too much. I kind of use this amount. It's sort of like a little snake on my finger, and that will be enough. I have this like mark of hyperpigmentation right in the middle of my forehead. It's so embarrassing. It looks like a pen mark right in there. I will do all of this. My lips are starting to dry up on account of the season. As soon as the heat goes on inside, my lips get dry. So this is Blistex's Lip Medics, and if you've ever tried, it's just this little pot of lip balm, and it's got that minty vibe going on. Ready for coffee? That's when I let all of this just absorb, and then I come back and I do my makeup. Okay, so I now have my coffee. Very important. I actually don't even know how I filmed that other part, not having had enough coffee, but here we go. Okay, I forgot to put on my Apple Watch. I don't use this really so much for movement. I've actually turned off all the notifications, speaking of devices, that encourage me to walk and get up. I find those stressful, but I do like it for getting texts and phone calls. All right, let's punch in a little bit. So I'm gonna do makeup now, and I'm not a professional makeup artist. I have been applying makeup here for a very long time. That's actually how I started. I wanted to be a beauty YouTuber, like so many people did. Do you remember back in the era of Nikki tutorials and Tati, even James Charles? I wanted part of that game too because I loved makeup at that time, and I still like it, but I need it to be quick nowadays. So I'm going in with my Merit Minimalist foundation stick. I've been raving about this since I got it a year ago. Actually, not true. When I first got it, I was like, I don't know, do I like this? It's maybe not enough coverage, but I really got used to it. I enjoy the lighter coverage. I enjoy the dewy complexion that it gives me. And it doesn't hide my skin. I'm not trying to hide my skin. I really want to embrace having texture, getting older. I don't like having this red dot in the middle of my forehead that looks like somebody punctured it with a pen, but I'm okay having a bit of crow's feet, and I have 11s. I have it all. I have it all, and you know what? It is a sign of a life well lived. I don't want to look like I'm 20 again. A lot of this, you know, and maybe the larger point here is that that's the message that I wanted to share. Aging is cool. I mean, if you're not aging, you're dead. There's not really much of an alternative, but I still want my skin to look good. I still want to look healthy. I still want to look like I'm glowing. I'm not trying to look 19 again. I wouldn't want to be 19 again. So I don't want to look younger, but I like to look better, if that makes sense. Just a light layer of this, and you see how quickly that went in? Like, I'm chatting and stuff, but it only takes not even like a couple minutes to put it in. I'm gonna add a little extra dot there to see if I can use it as a concealer. And then sometimes I might go in a little bit extra around the eyes. But I will warn you, if you are using this stuff and your eyes are not as sharp as they used to be, as mine are not, you wanna go by a window and get a closer look. Or what I've done is I have this like vanity little mirror that has lights around it, so I'll use this to get a closer look and see where I missed, because inevitably I've missed something. Yeah, I have texture here from a bit of a breakout. But I think I've done a pretty good job smoothing that in. You can use your fingers to work this in. You can also just use a complexion style brush. Merit makes one as well. I've said before that there's nothing special, particularly about this brush. Here's a Real Techniques brush I use sometimes when this is drying from being washed. Same idea. This is not very much money. This is more, but maybe you're seeing this as like a deal and you just want to make it easy for yourself. You want to buy them together in a bundle. I don't know your life. But if not, this Real Techniques brush is very good as well. All right, I really just wanted to show you the foundation because I know that that's something that people are always curious about. The rest of the makeup I will just do quickly off camera and then I'll pop back on. I'm just finishing up with some Merit blush. I've done the eye makeup and I use two types because I am indeed a very extra person when it comes to blush. This is a universally flattering shade. It's called Cheeky. And then I'll use this, a little bit of this. And then for that pop color, the one that kind of goes more here, that is more bright, you like the color Stockholm, which is more of a pink. So I'll just pop these on, and the secret to using this kind of creamy blush on top is to dab. Don't brush it out too much because you will in fact just brush it all off. But be careful, just dab lightly. I have in fact taken smears off of this, so try not to do that basically. Okay, so the purpose of me hopping on now, just with this bit of makeup done, my hair's not done yet, I do not intend to go around looking quite like this, is devices that are, I think, not worth it. And these are from CurrentBody. It pains me to say this, I have a very good working relationship with them. This video is not sponsored, but they do send me units to test. I've been quite honest and open about that. The Series 2 mask that I have, I did not pay for. They sent that to me, but I would never tell you about something that I didn't like. And so in the vein of being completely honest, I'm gonna tell you about two products that they sent me. And I've got another one downstairs to unbox that's a surprise to me, to you. We've never done a product like that before. But let me first tell you about the two that I think for me are not good, okay? Let me show you. So the first one that they've sent me, that listen, I more than anybody would have wished for this to work because I would love not to be shaving my legs anymore. And that is the CurrentBody at-home laser hair removal device. Here it is. It looks like a hairdryer, and I used it exactly as they told me on my legs, and I even did a test leg, one leg using it, one leg not using it, and it didn't work for me. I still need to shave. I do not see any discernible difference. I would be willing to give this a break now, let my hair grow back, and I'm gonna try it again, I think, before I completely condemn this forever, but it didn't work for me and it's expensive. So I don't recommend this. Maybe other people do. My experience is that I would not tell a friend, and so therefore I would not tell you to purchase this because I didn't have any luck, and I'm the perfect candidate for it because you're supposed to have dark hair and light skin. Those are the people that it works best on. I guess it works on the contrast between the darkness of the hair and the lightness of the skin. Didn't work for me. Okay, so that's one. Let me show you the second one. And these are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I would feel so guilty if I told you to buy something that I knew was not great. So the other thing I have just tucked under this chair is this LED neck and décolletage mask, and it's very much the same as the face mask, right? Same principles. Let me just put this here on this chair. Here it is, and it just drapes here around your neck and then down to your chest. And the thing about me, my friends, is that I don't know if it's my age. I think maybe it has to do more with my lifestyle, in which case I'm not that exposed to the sun here. I like to cover up here just in general. I don't like this feeling of the sun beating on me. I live in a cold climate. I'm covered half the year. And even in the summer, I'm very often also covered just because I don't want to get more sun damage. But my neck is not too crepey, not too bad. But again, I'm 48, I'm not 68. So maybe this isn't exactly intended for me. For me, it's just not necessary, and it's just something I don't want to use right now, but I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. And I can definitely see a case where for some people that is a real area of where they feel sensitive about, you know, the ravaging hands of aging. But for my particular use case, I have it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know if like in a year it will start to bother me and I will start to use it. I'm just saying at this stage of my life, I'm not finding that I need this. It's really my face that I want to concentrate on for now. Doesn't mean that the product is bad. I'm just saying that it's not ideal for me right now. But again, I just want to say, if you are going to buy a mask like this, get a name brand. Don't go cheap. Don't go generic. Don't go for whatever you find on Amazon that costs like $120. Like that is not going to be worth it. I can pretty much guarantee you that. It could even be the same mask. I don't know. You know how there's like really great dupes out there, but the problem is, again, what happens if it stops working in 6 months? You know, you might have a warranty on other brands. You might not even be able to find that generic company from Amazon. So buyer beware, as they say. Okay, sorry that you've had to look at this hair for so long. I'm just gonna have some coffee and we'll get onto that. Okay, so this is my natural hair texture, which I think is probably quite evident because who would make their hair look like this? It is a mix of straight pieces and wavy pieces. I have a lot of body in my hair. Too much body, I would say, actually. So I'm not washing my hair today. My routine is to wash it every 3 days, sometimes every 4 days. And the way I judge whether I need to wash it or not, whether it's going to be the 3 or the 4 days, is just basically how greasy it is on the roots. You want it to get a little bit greasy. You don't want to go from your hair feeling dry to washing it, and your hair is dry and dry. It will just get drier and drier. For a while, I was doing it every 2 days, and that was a bit of a mistake because my hair got quite dry and it was actually very hard to recover from there. But anyway, these are the products that I use right now. My routine has not deviated much in years, but here's a huge thing that happened. I went from using Bansatin, just the one for like normal to dry hair. My last bottle of it was terrible. Bansatin Nutritive, so it's the one with the orange cap. So there's Bansatin and there's Bansatin Riche. So there's the rich level, which is this one, and there's the less rich level that doesn't have the word riche at the end of it. So I had to switch to this one. My last bottle dried out my hair so much. It's almost like one of those terrible sulfate-free formulas all of a sudden. So I switched to this one and it's fine so far. I thought it would be too greasy. My hair must be getting drier as well. It's working really well. And then in terms of conditioner, I have hair that does not love to soak in conditioner. So it almost doesn't matter what I buy. I don't buy drugstore though, because usually I don't like the scent of drugstore conditioners. I know that sounds pretty weak. I could go trying all of them, but I don't feel like spending $60 on trying all these different conditioners, none of which I'm really gonna like the scent. So I stick with the known quantity, which is Ouai's medium hair conditioner. And I find for me, these two work very well. I do not deviate. I don't try different shampoo. No, I don't do that. Okay, so my hair is now messy. I'm going to brush it. I'm still using the Tangle Teaser. I'm brushing from underneath, basically. My hair doesn't get too tangly, so that's a bonus. And then I will just brush out this part. And when my hair is kind of like a bit borderline, I will usually just tie it up in a ponytail, in a low bun kind of a thing. I have grays on the top and I'm okay with that. But I don't like those that have grays in the temple. This I'm not too crazy about. It reminds me of like Veronica Lodge's dad in the Archie comics. He had very gray temples, Mr. Lodge. So with the hair brushed and still puffy, I'm going to show you my usual routine, which is I'm still addressing my hair loss, people. Rogaine for the win. I don't use much though. I think I'm using it maybe 3 times a week, if that. I just don't use it as much as I used to. So I'm still doing it how I always have done. Go a little bit in the temples, go here. I'll just put in some little dots here. I know that my biggest spot is still this thinning spot on the back. So what you can't see from this view is I put a little bit more there, and that's how I put it in. I've been using this now for, I don't know, I guess since I was 40, if I'm 48 now, I guess that makes it 8 years. I have taken breaks. I've gone on holiday and forgotten about it entirely, forgotten to bring it. I was in Jamaica once for like a week and I didn't use it at all, and it's okay. It's been okay. Now, take care if you do have cats. This is toxic and deadly to them. A lot of people take oral minoxidil, so that's the pill format instead. But I don't have any cats. I don't have any pets. So that is fine. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands now. More coffee, of course, and I gotta find my favorite hair elastic. Random. Okay, I did find my extra hair elastics. I just used the Goody Ouchless ones. It says it's for fine hair, I guess because they're smaller elastics. So if you see me with my hair up, I usually just have one of these in my hair, and I try and get my hair cut so that none of the pieces fall out when I'm doing a center part low ponytail, low bun. I actually prefer a low bun to a ponytail. I find it looks a little bit more pulled together, a little bit more chic. So I'll just zip through my hair like that and literally just pull it together and pull it through like that. And when you're seeing me with my hair pulled back, that is what I'm doing. And then I'll just go on top. Well, I wasn't entirely happy. Sometimes I like to pull my hair down over my ears just a tiny bit, but then sometimes it doesn't want to stay. In which case, of course, a bobby pin to the rescue. So you'll see this here is wanting to fall out. So I'll just gently tuck it and then pop that one bobby pin and hopefully that's enough. Then I like to use Ouai's leave-in conditioner. I go through lots of bottles for this and I try and buy one. It's on sale. And I like to just basically tamp down the flyaways. That's its best use case for me because I don't like using too much hairspray if I don't have to, because hairspray is drying ultimately. And I'll just kind of smooth these down with my hand like that. And so that is my very quick hair routine for my non-hair wash days. If you guys want a full hair routine video, I can do that at some point. Not today, but I can make that for you. And I just want to remind you, losing a lot of hair is normal, especially if you brush your hair. It is normal. It's a fact of life. Don't worry about losing hair when you brush it. Don't worry about losing hair when you wash. If you're washing your hair every 4 days, try and remember that a lot of hair is going to come out when you do that. So if you're washing daily, you won't see as much. But if you're getting handfuls at the 4-day mark, like a good chunk, I'm not. For me, it's normal. Everybody's different. If it's a lot more than usual, of course, get it checked out, but don't be alarmed. If you're someone who's an infrequent hair washer and you're getting tons in the shower, if you were to wash every day, try and remember it would be less. Even though it's October, it's still so lovely out. We're getting just the best weather this fall. Okay, so this is the surprise that CurrentBody sent me. I actually know what it is, but before I completely open this, I wanted to have a quick word about drugstore shampoo. Drugstore shampoo. I don't want you to think that I am some sort of product snob. I am not. I love a deal as much as the next person. I would love to be buying a $6 shampoo. Nothing would make me happier. I do not want to spend 60 Canadian dollars on that Hairstyle shampoo that you saw. But here's the thing. I know that I have that one shampoo and it works perfectly. And I just don't want to cycle through all the different shampoos out there at the drugstore level to only be disappointed and then have an entire bottle of shampoo I can't use. That is not for me. I've yet to find one that I really like. But if I did have to buy one from the drugstore, my favorite brand is L'Oreal. L'Oreal and Hairstyle are owned by the same parent company. There are some orange bottles of L'Oreal shampoo that I think have the word oil in them that are pretty good. And so that probably would be what I would reach for if I did care to only purchase drugstore shampoos. But you know what? I work. I don't have to buy the absolute least expensive everything. I think it's okay to treat myself to, you know, $120 worth of shampoo over a year, because I use about 2 bottles a year. I don't go crazy on the shampoo. But if you do want to try the Hairstyle, I have to warn you, it is a low lather shampoo. And you will find most drugstore shampoos are not low lather. They have a lot of lather, and a lot of lather dries out my hair. So I'm just telling you this because say you do buy a Hairstyle, like a higher end shampoo, you might find that it doesn't lather a lot and you'd be like, this isn't working well because I'm used to having so many bubbles. You will not get that level of bubbles and you might think it's not working, and then you'll use a whole bunch of it accidentally, and then, you know, half a bottle will be gone and you'll be like, this doesn't last. But really it's that you are trying to lather it too much. Okay, here it is. CurrentBody's LED hair regrowth mask. No, sorry, mask. Helmet. I've never wanted one of these because it's just a lot to take on, right? But They've been offering me for a year now, so I thought, you know what, time to stop fighting them and just accept it and test it for you guys. So I might do an unboxing fully of this with you. I don't know that I'll open it now. Okay, maybe I will. Let's see. I have no idea whether these work or not. Apparently they do, but I've never pushed them on people because I know myself, I know I'm lazy to use these. So we will see what ultimately ends up happening with this device. Okay, fine. You convinced me. Let's crack it open together. It's got a plastic on top of it. So I'm gonna try and crack open this plastic seal. It's quite tall, huh? Leading me to believe that the product inside is large. How big is this gonna be? My goodness. It's got a seal, so I'm gonna crack that. Here we go. Oh. It looks like something out of science fiction. This is not going to be me telling you anything informative really about this. This is just a first look, me opening this myself for the first time. I've never used it. Keep in mind though that if you are going to pull the trigger and buy one, you have to measure your head first. You have to use a measuring tape and figure out if you're going to be wearing the small model, which I think most people will, small, medium. And then there's a medium large model, I guess if you have a larger head. So make sure that you check into that because you don't want to buy the wrong size. You want to make sure you get the right size. Oh my goodness, this looks like something out of Westworld or something. Okay, comes on this base, I guess. Nice packaging though, kind of reminds me of like Apple. They always have really nice packaging at CurrentBody, so you know, you can tell this is a premium product. Look at that. Ooh, it's heavy too. Right, so I will not be testing this, obviously, in this video. We will save that video for another day. I've always hesitated to use these devices just because they're expensive, right? I think the price is starting to come down. There's starting to be some decent research about them. But right now, well, up till now, it's never been something I've wanted to incorporate in my routine because Rogaine is working so well for me. And, you know, I'm lazy. I don't know how else to say it. I'm a lazy person when it comes to this stuff. Like, I already have the mask, and that is sometimes hard enough for me to remember to do the 5 days out of the week that I'm supposed to do it. So anyway, I'll put this away for another day, but I just wanted to crack it open with you guys. And now I can't close this back the way that it was. What did I do? Yes, I somehow moved that. Okay. Now time for 11s, which is just a quick instant coffee. I do want to come clean a little bit because I know that you see other YouTubers here, content creators, and I might mention the things that they get done. One time, maybe they'll talk about it a little bit, but I think maybe the average casual viewer is not realizing that they're having a bunch of other stuff done as well. And so they're wondering, why does their skin look so great after they use this product or that product? I'm just cutting up some potatoes here for hash browns for lunch. So I want to come completely clean about what I use and what I don't use, because I think that that's important, you know, to contextualize the fact that I'm 48. I think I look pretty good, you know? I'm not just going to say from my age, but I look and feel pretty good, and I probably would attribute that less to the LED mask and even the skincare and more to some other stuff that I'm doing, you know, which we can talk about. Okay, Botox. I want to come clean on that. I don't use Botox. I would love to. I had it done once when I was 37. I thought it looked so good. Oh my gosh. These like frown 11 things going on here. These two lines were gone. It looked good. Like if I had the means, because it is expensive, and if I had a really good Botox doctor nearby, because I went to like the best Botox doctor in the city, but it's kind of hard to get to. For those of you who know Toronto, it's down in Yorkville, and it's just like a vibe that I kind of wasn't personally vibing with. If that place was like very near to me, like walking distance, and I could afford it, if I had those two factors, I would be going regularly. The other problem with me with Botox is that it wears off very quickly on me. Some people can get a long last out of it, but the time I did have it done, just the once, it was gone in like 2.5, 3 months. And I would be hoping for that kind of money to be getting more like 4 or 5, maybe even stretching it to 6 months, which some women can get done. They can stretch it to 6 months. But without that in play, like I don't have the energy for that or the money. And I just don't like going to medical appointments, even if it's for cosmetic stuff. It's just, I don't enjoy it. I kind of rather dread it, to be honest. So I don't do Botox or fillers, and I certainly don't judge those who do. Okay, hormone replacements. That's another thing we have to talk about. Some YouTubers, creators, again, I don't judge. I'm not against tweakments, as they're called, at all. I'm not against hormone replacement therapy if you feel like you need it because you want to feel better because menopause is getting to you. It's not an option for me.
The reason it's not an option for me is because I'm a breast cancer survivor, and the type of breast cancer I had was hormone sensitive. So I'm trying to have less hormones. In fact, I took hormone suppressants for 6 or 7 years, maybe even more. I kind of lost track. I took them for a very long time, and there was no reason for me to take more. That wouldn't make any sense. So I don't use any injectables, any fillers, or any hormone treatments. And so that is what you're looking at. Now, it probably is worth mentioning, oh gosh, that's totally the wrong lid. It's probably worth mentioning what I do think works. What I do think works is eating relatively well. I don't have a perfect diet, but more than that, I think exercise actually has really helped the musculature even underneath my face. I think it makes it just generally stronger and less lax. I'm not doing any like face exercises. I'm just saying the act of like cardio, lifting weights, nothing too crazy, but I have a really healthy, good workout habit going. I go almost every day, usually take one rest day a week. And I don't stay forever, like 20, 30 minutes, and I'm done at the gym. I take Pilates one time a week as well. And I do think those things make me look, I think, more vibrant. Maybe not younger, but more vibrant than I did when I wasn't exercising a lot. So I just wanted to mention that I think that alone has really changed the appearance of my skin, the cell turnover and rejuvenation. So if you don't exercise regularly and you know you should, I would really say, look into that. For me, it's made a world of difference. Sorry that there's a lot of vacuuming and like laundry sounds in the background. We are also cleaning today. I'm in between filming these little clips. I am cleaning the house. I want to talk about retinols now and whether I use them or not. So I was using Differin, which is a newer generation retinol, like a vitamin A. I think, okay, I could be getting this wrong. Many of you know this stuff better than I do. So I was using Differin XP, which is the stronger prescription version. I had been using that for a year. Then I was like finding that I was getting too much retinization. I was backing off. My skin was very flaky. Around that time, I got the LED CurrentBody Series 2 mask, and I haven't really felt the need to use it as much. I think that my cell turnover is higher using the LED mask without the side effects that I was getting using Differin. So I've pretty much stopped, but I know to get that really nice glass skin, I've seen it on other women who are more mature skinned. They swear by it. They swear by Retin A and Differin XP. I'm just off it right now. I'm not saying I'll never go back on, but just like right now what you're seeing is skin that is not getting treated by retinol products, really, not even skincare so much. I'm finding that the mask in combination just with the gentle cleansing and the Merit products that I showed you, like that's my go-to, and my skin has been really, really healthy for the last year, just using basically those 3 or 4 things. There is probably nothing more obnoxious than getting a big lecture about how much you're sleeping, so I promise to keep this part short. But how much you're sleeping and the quality of your sleep really does play a huge role in how you look, how you feel. Obviously, nobody likes to be tired, and I know there's like times in your life where getting a good night's sleep is next to impossible. I get it, but I really do ask myself sometimes, am I overstimulating myself? Because I know that I slept better in the 90s and before I had a smartphone. Like, I know I did. I was just much more bored. I had my physical books, and that was pretty much it. I had a boring TV in my bedroom. I just had like a boring TV set that wasn't connected to cable, and that was all that I had. And without that promise of stimulation and entertainment, I know that I slept better then. So I'm definitely not perfect in that regard, but I will say this. I noticed such a big difference in how I look because I film myself so often, to the point where if I haven't slept well, I often will just not film that day. So marked is the difference in how I look. I just look so depleted when I haven't slept well. So just a reminder to, before you even think about maybe correcting these other parts of your life, if you can get better sleep, stimulate your mind less, learn how to deal with nighttime worries, all that kind of stuff. If you can get on top of that, that will make such a huge difference. You may not even need to go down the path of like all the other stuff we've been talking about. So also I want to talk just briefly, because I am heading out to the gym now, about the role of makeup and how that's changed for me over the last number of years. One thing I've really cut down on, oddly, is eyeliner. I know it sounds random, but I have to wear less eyeliner than I used to. I used to really like to just like ring my eyes with a dark eyeliner, and I thought that looked really pretty, but now I'm finding it to not be flattering. I find it to make me look just more tired. So I've really cut back on the amount of eyeliner underneath it especially. I just like quickly use a bit of liquid eyeliner on the top lids. And I'm finding even that is like diminishing returns now because my eyes are getting more droopy. So the eyeliner in particular is something I'm always rethinking every couple of years as I age. Everything I filmed up to this point has been on my Canon V1 camera, and I swear there's a reason I'm mentioning that. And that is because that is a very flattering camera, especially for inside the home. I've now switched to my iPhone. And the reason I'm saying this and telling you this is because the footage will look very harsh. The thing about the iPhone is that when you're outside, it's very detailed. It catches all of the flaws, but you can always change the footage. You can always filter it. There are like apps, and I don't even have to look like this. I could switch it over and put like a face smoothing feature on me. That's like 50%. It'll take down 50% of the wrinkles. I'm saying this so that you don't believe everything that you see here. You'll see people showing like their before and after footage. I tend not to do that. I tend to rely on like telling you my verbal testimony about stuff because you can fudge images. And not only that, now YouTube puts an AI filter, not so much on the long form videos, but on the shorts. They will put a filter on it so that it smooths your face anyway. So you kind of can't really rely on what you're seeing. You just have to kind of go on whether you think that the person is being honest about what they're seeing or not, because you can fudge video for sure. So I'm saying all of this because LED devices are expensive, and it's easy to get influenced by someone who looks very radiant, who looks like they've had a beautiful before and after. And I'm not saying not to trust YouTube, because look at me, I'm making videos about this stuff, but maybe just take it with a grain of salt and also rely on other forms of reporting on these products. I mean, I like the work that Wirecutter does, but there's other things out there. You know, there's people that write blog posts. Don't just rely just on what you're seeing on YouTube. All I'm saying is that that footage, it doesn't always give you the best, most honest depiction of what's really going on. Even if the person is not putting on any filters, it's just very hard to tell, especially because YouTube does like compress our footage. So what you think you're seeing may not really be what you're seeing. So even if the person is not using heavy filters, it can look better than it actually is. So it's just something to keep in mind. Also, let's just take a moment to have a look at how the wear is coming along on the Merit foundation stick. I'm still pretty glowy from probably more of the products that were on underneath it, but it does leave quite a radiant finish. It's not a dry down matte finish, so if that's what you're looking for, that's not the foundation stick for you. But if you want to look quite natural when you're outside, if you thin it out really well with the brush as we were doing, it looks pretty good all day, but it is not a full coverage foundation.
Okay, late in the day makeup check-in. I haven't retouched anything. This is pretty much how it looks. I don't know how well you'll see here, but it's definitely fading off some of my spots. So again, this is not like an all-day heavy-duty foundation coverage level. But you know what? It's taken me to dinner time and I haven't retouched at all. I'm pretty happy with it. My blush is still intact. My skin looks pretty glowy still. Hair is still pretty good in terms of flyaways. I have just smoothed it down with my hands a couple times. So Way really does make nice, reliable products. I don't know that they're the best of what Sephora carries, for example, but I know that they're pretty reliable. So anything that I purchase from there, I have been happy with. And that leave-in conditioner is something I keep repurchasing, even though I kind of mostly just spray it on the top, spritz it on the top of my hairline, as you saw. One thing I did want to do though, is just talk you through some less expensive choices in terms of maybe you don't want to buy the expensive mask, maybe you don't want to buy the expensive serum and moisturizer that I've been talking about. So let's get into that. Okay, I can see on the side here that my eye makeup is a little the worse for wear, but I wanted to show up and be really real about this and not do like touch-ups and pretend that everything looks perfect. This just is how it looks after basically a full work day. I mean, I wasn't working today. Today was a day off, but what you can expect by like 5 p.m. Okay, so cheaper alternatives to some of the things we've been talking about, the things that I've liked anyway. I'm not gonna give you cheaper alternatives of the things I haven't tried or I don't like. But in terms of an LED mask, so I like the CurrentBody Series 2. No qualms recommending that whatsoever. If you want something less expensive, apparently the Light Stim wand is quite good. And that's just like a wand device. It's not a full mask. So, you know, you have to work a little bit more for it. But in terms of you have to move it around your face yourself. If you don't mind doing that though, it is an LED device that I think is well rated and is maybe half the price of the CurrentBody mask, the full face mask. So that might be a way to save a little bit of money. Of course, if you're
keeping an eye out for sales. You could probably get it for even less. I'll leave a link down below. In terms of if you don't want to go the whole Merit serum and moisturizer route, I totally get it. They're expensive. They're not inexpensive. They do last. They do last. It's been a year and I've gone through 2 bottles of, like I'm on my 2nd bottle of serum and there's still an okay amount left. And I'm in my 2nd bottle of moisturizer as well. And I think I'm using the moisturizer a little faster than the serum. But if you don't want to go that route, I've got a nice all-in-one recommendation for you, which is just Cicaplast, La Roche-Posay, which is a French brand. They have something called Cicaplast, I can never say the name right, Balm B5. And I think they may have changed the name slightly for the North American market, but it's not too pricey. If you get the bigger bottle, it's around $20, and you can get a smaller bottle for, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's not too pricey. It's not under $10, but it's definitely like affordable drugstore. You can get it at Target, you can get it at CVS kind of thing. If you're in Canada, it's easy to find it like Rexall and Shoppers. That's a really nice thick balm that will give you this look. If this is the dewy look that you're after, it will give you that. Just make sure that you use it in really thin layers. Don't goop it on. It's heavy, so a little goes a long way. Do 2 thin layers rather than 1 thick layer, and you might like it. And if you don't, hang on to it for like hand repair in the winter, or like for your elbows or your dry legs or something like that if it doesn't work out well for your face. There's plenty of other uses for it. So those are my top 2 more affordable picks. In terms of a foundation stick, I don't really have like a drugstore dupe for you because I don't use drugstore foundation sticks, just because I haven't come across one that I like so far, not because I have anything against them. But in terms of drugstore foundation, that will give you a little bit more of a glow, but it's also a long wear foundation. So if you need a long wear, it is Revlon's Color Stay. I've been using that for a very long time now. Don't get the dry skin one. Don't get the oily skin one. Get the one for the dry skin. And it's pretty good. You know, a little goes a long way. If I weren't so in love with this Merit stick, that's definitely what I would have still been using. I had been using regularly up until this point. So those are some affordable substitutions for the stuff that we've talked about. In terms of hair care, brand name Rogaine is expensive. Buy the men's. I've been saying this for years. If it's less expensive than the women's, like look at the can price versus another can price. Don't just look at the women's versus the men's, because they do this little marketing trickery where there's like 3 cans of men's in the box for men if you're buying like more than 1 can. And then there's 2 cans in the women's. And everyone's like, well, the women's cost less, Helen, when you're buying a multi-pack. Yeah, because there's only 2 cans in the women's. They're charging a little less. But effectively, each can costs more money, if you're following what I'm saying. I know, they're trying to like, yeah, it's not right. I don't know what else to say. I've been talking about this for years. I'm not going to harp on about it. Check your prices before you buy. Men's and women's, it's identical. Minoxidil at 5% is minoxidil at 5%. A lot of people like using Kirkland's brand from Costco. I've never gone that route. It's last time I checked and needed to buy a bunch of it. Costco in Canada doesn't carry Kirkland brand minoxidil. So I just stick with the brand name, and I only use about 3 cans every year. I don't use a lot anymore. So yeah, those are my tips and tricks for saving a bit of money, spending drugstore prices. Shampoo, you know, we've had that discussion. I don't have any good drugstore shampoo recommendations. I don't mess with the cheap stuff. I just buy the Hairstyle and I basically call it a day. I hate for my hair to look frizzy, and I know that I won't with Hairstyle, specifically the one that I showed you. So links to all this stuff down below. It is now the evening, and what I will typically do before I go to bed is, oh, don't mind this mess. I bought some new pairs of socks and I've got to get rid of this detritus. Let's get rid of this now, actually. I will take my hair out, take this bobby pin out. Because it was tied up all day, it's not actually too messy, but I will just give it a good brushing through. And then, because I'm going to be taking a bath later on, I will grab a scrunchie, not this hair elastic, but rather a scrunchie to hold my hair up while I'm in the bath. And I usually will sleep, but not always. I will sleep with this, it's like a loose bun at the top of my head so that I don't have breakage. And I also just don't love the sensation of rolling around on my hair, which is not such an issue now because it's not that long. But I then, every night, wash again with CeraVe Hydrating Foam Oil Cleanser. So I'm getting low on that. I need to repurchase. I just take 1 pump, and then I just never ever use anything warmer than tepid water. When I'm in the shower, I pretty much don't put my face in the shower water. It's too hot for my skin. I will not use any bath water. like coming out of the tap on my face, cool water only, and that has actually made a huge difference in how dry my skin is or isn't. So that's been a nice change. Now, this isn't long wear, as I've said many, many times, but I find that the eye makeup is a bit clingy. So I will use another half pump to go in again, and I'll just gently go in circles. I don't use any really harsh exfoliants or scrubs or anything. So even after all that, I annoyingly will still have makeup remnants. And what I do for that is micellar water. I use CeraVe's micellar water, but I decant it into this, and this makes it last so long. If you spray it, it's so much more effective to do it this way instead of just using it out of the, well, it looks exactly like this. Instead of just dripping it into your pad, to spritz it on like this is cost effective, and I think actually just sprays and saturates it better instead of just pouring a whole bunch over the top, which is how I used to do it. So this is a huge help. This will remove 90% of the eye makeup. And then what I will do, because it's hard to get off that long wear eyeliner, I will fold it into a point, and then I will just sort of go in there and do the best job that I can. And then also, because I'm on this dry eye regimen, I have to use my Blepahsol once again. Morning and evening is what it says on it. And you see how much came out? I should have put this in a spray bottle, but because it's supposed to be a very sterile product, I didn't want to do that because I am going much more into my eye with this and taking care of whatever the extra 10% is, because you might think you've got everything. You didn't. I find especially this eye, there's always a bit more. The stuff is very gentle. Yeah, so there's just a little bit more eye makeup coming off there. And then, not to be too gross, but I'll pull here and grab the little goobers that inevitably accumulate, especially when it's allergy season. So it's at this point that I would have a nice hot bath, which I am going to do. But just in the interest in showing you what else I use, I'll just do that now. When my bath's all done and I've emerged all clean, I like to go in with, sometimes, not every time, Tula Skincare's H2O Instant Skin Reviving Mask. And this is just a nice goopy mask that I just put on. I'll smooth this in, and then it's bedtime. A word about Tula products, they're quite expensive. I don't think, I got these for free to try them. They're lovely. If I got them for free, I would keep using them forever, but the price point does not justify it. I think there are just many other amazing products out there that work just as well. That Cicaplast Balm B5 that I was telling you about is a very good dupe for this Tula cream. It's also a very good dupe or replacement for our Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Cream. But I have been enjoying this, so it would be a lie to say that I don't. So that's my whole routine. I'm just finishing up my Earl Grey decaf tea in my H mug. That's pretty much everything I would do in a typical day from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Please do remember to like, consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. Leave me a comment down below if you enjoyed this, anything you want, even an emoji. Thanks so much for spending your time with me here, and we'll see you in the next video.